Hi everybody, this is a open discussion in Firefly's team regarding snippets in Visual Studio. If I could put a title to it, I would say, I'm too lazy to type, let Visual Studio type for me. And I believe that lazy is a good quality. I consider myself one. So a lot of times we feel like we're typing things in Visual Studio that we wish someone else would type for us. Let's look at a very basic example. Let's add a new UI controller. And let's say that I want to view the table order, that I need to do public models orders. Okay, so obviously I'm selecting from the instance, and then I'm saying new and selecting models orders again, open parents, close parents, and OK. So all of this is nice and well, but it took me like, I don't know, 10 keystrokes to type it, so I didn't really type the entire 30 or 40 letters that we are seeing over here. But still, I would prefer to write less than that, and this is something that I do quite often. And I use the same syntax when I build an entity, I use the same syntax when I do other things. So what if Visual Studio could write this for me? So for that specific need, Visual Studio came up with something that they called snippets. What is snippets? For example, I can do prop. You see how in this instance these items are marked as, again, prop, are marked with a square? Okay, and not with something else. This is a way for Visual Studio to give me some tools that do quick typing for me. So let's do prop, tab, and it has created a property for me. With the syntax and the build, and I can write whatever I want to write here. Okay. We can also create something like this of our own. Let me show you one that I have created. We've created this in 2008. FFP, tab, and it has internal, read only, text column, my name, text column. And I can very quickly adjust it to say models.orders, tab, and you see how it also fixed the value over here. I didn't need to do anything. And then I'll just give it a name, enter, and I'm done. And it also parked the cursor over here, so if I want to send the parameters to the constructors, it makes it easy. Now, previously in the past, we used to train people like this, and we used it in training. And we took it away from training because we felt that people just don't get what it's doing. Okay, they forgot that it's actually doing it. A member and a new, and they kind of, when I told them to do a new class, they didn't know what we're talking about. But for people who develop for a while, this can save time, and save times that none of us has the patience to spend. Now, how do we create this? How can one create this of its own? So, in Visual Studio, there's a section called Tools, Code Snippets Manager. And in it, you can choose your own code snippet. I went for the language C#, and there's a folder called My Code Snippets, or My Snippets that I've created, which is in C temp snippets. And in it, it shows me the Firefly box column snippets that we have created. Let's have a look at the file itself and see what it does. Okay, so I open the directory, we can see the Firefly snippet. I've associated it with a notepad, just for fun. I can associate it with anything else I want. And here is the syntax of the file. You know something, let's see if Visual Studio will open it and it would look nicer there. Maybe Visual Studio can show it better. Yes, Visual Studio gives me color coding. So what do we see here? We can see the schema of the file. We can see the title of it. We can see the shortcut. This is the FFP that I have typed. Okay. We can see the descriptions that I have created. Back in the day where columns were called properties. And we can see the snippet type. We can see that we've defined two literals. One is called type, okay, with description property type and the default value of text column. And one is called name, which is the column name, and with the name my name. Now, after I've defined these variables, I can use them in the actual strings that I place in the code. So have a look. I've done internal, read only. Okay, if you compare it to the code that came eventually out, okay, side by side. This is the internal, this is the read-only, this is the type. Okay, it's defined like this, and it correlates with the definition over here. Okay, and we can see that it replaces both here and here. And this is the name. Let's go with a different color, the name. Okay, and eventually I'm using the end indicator to show where the cursor should park when I'm finished with this snippet. Okay, so creating snippet is simply creating such files and placing them in the directory. Okay, so you can place them in the directories that you define in the code snippet manager. And that's it. You can create any snippet that you can imagine. And this is the engine behind Visual Studio's snippets of everything, you know, the
For each.
or for each,
Mbox.
or mbox, or switch. Okay, this is the engine behind all of this, and we can create our own and type less. Okay, questions?
Oh, cool.
Cool. So thanks. Hope you'll enjoy. Cheers.